All right, this is Superman, Daniel Williams. Hold up. This is Batman, Rob. Daniel Williams. Wait, wait a minute. Green Hornet? I don't know. I just know we just here.
I just wait to see what the introduction is going to be like.
Gotta have fun, huh? The man of the hour, the doctor, the right reverend. That's how they do. That's how they do in church, Daniel. They just come up with all this, before you get
those long lists of titles and accolades and all that stuff.
That's what they do. They do that in church. They come on. This is the right reverend doctor bishop. I just thought I'd just throw that out there just to have some fun. I just woo, man.
Well, laughter is good.
They got to come up with about 10 titles and then flush the toilet and then run down. I told you they got to flush the toilet 3 times and then jump over 5 benches and then go outside. Hallelujah, praise the Lord Jesus and all that, and then anyway, I'm just I'm a preacher. You're a preacher. You know how that go. But anyway, so I'm gonna start this segment out hot and heavy. I'm about to hit you hard, man.
What you coming with?
I'm coming with some craziness, man. So here's the deal, right? So this is called rock bottom. Ooh, I said it, bro. I just made that up because that's how they do in church. See, a lot of people come up with these tongues and they be shitty, and then you be waiting for the interpretation and you never get it. And then you like, okay, that ain't biblical. Because if you speak the tongue, then what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to have an interpretation. I just, whatever. So anyway, so here's the deal. Rock bottom. So Daniel, I'm going to hit you so hard today, you're going to be like, oh, Lord, why? Why? I'm rock bottom. So I'm going to hit you with this, right? Yesterday, I had a conversation with a person I've been married to for 40-something years. And they basically said, no, I'm done. I don't want you. I want what you have. And I said, are you serious? And we got ugly. And then I said, okay. And we exchanged some words, Daniel. And then I said, you know what? I'm about to get stupid. I'm about to let my flesh go somewhere it don't need to go. And I had to think about that. Was she wrong for just saying what she said? She told me the truth. She said, hey, man, 40-something years, 40-something years, I've been in that relationship. And I said, man, this was 42 gonna get you. We're going to 41 for 41 and 42. And I took it personal. And she said, well, can we be friends? We can't talk to each other. And see,
but let me ask you this question. Let me jump in there a minute. Let me ask you this question.
Let's go. Jump in, bro.
About you say you took it personal. So was this like absolutely new to you that she didn't really want you? So why you?
I was, you know what? I was ignorant. It was there the whole time. I just, you know what I'm saying, Daniel? I just didn't want to own it. See,
so you was being like the ostrich. You just put your head in the sand and act like it didn't exist.
Yes, I did. I just put my head in the sand. And so anyway, so some words got exchanged and all that stuff, and then the truth came out. And then this is what happened. Now I'm gonna be transparent. My son's been telling me. They said, Dad, you done been through worse in your life. Your marriage is over. My sons told me that. I said, man, I don't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear it. Then friends told me that. They said, dude, no, she don't want you, bro. She don't want you. And then I said, no, it's not right. And then it happened. Yesterday was the moment of truth. And so, man, I got upset. And I said, man, God, I don't know how to handle that. See, I'm being honest. That's what men on pause is about. I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. I said, man, I don't know how to handle that. And then, so I slept it off and had to think. And then I woke up this morning, and then this what, my son had told me just the other day. He said, "You and Daniel, man, he's the assistant to the bishop of African American College of Bishops." And he said, "Man, me and my friends been sharing this stuff." And I had an older gentleman, and my son's father-in-law, he's 70-some years old. He said, "Man, I've been sharing this stuff. You and Daniel killing it." He said, "Man, y'all so truth. The truth y'all telling is crazy." He said, "Now, can I, what?" He said, "What meaneth this?" And this old 70-something-year-old cat daddy, he said, "Listen, man, you got to move on. Like you hit rock bottom." Now, this is the subject today. What is rock bottom? Now, I'm going to tell you what my rock bottom is. I need God. I need Jesus, and I need the Holy Spirit. I've hit rock bottom. And here's what's crazy, Daniel. Here's what's crazy. I think people don't want to be honest about the fact that what rock bottom means. Rock bottom for me is, and it's nothing against how many times you've been married or whatever, but we talk about relationships and all that stuff. We the gurus of this, right? We tell our truth. So, man, what's hurtful is, I said, doggone, man, I'm fresh. I'm fresh in the game. Only been married once. Once, Daniel? Just once. And you said you married twice. What happens when a cat daddy like me finally hit rock bottom? And people just telling you all this stuff, man. They coming to you with scriptures and praise the Lord and and tongues and all kinds of stuff. And they trying to tell you, you know what? You just got to trust God and all that. And your flesh, well, I'm going to use the old people's term, the flush. They ain't say the flesh. They said the flush. They said the flush. It's getting in the way. What do you do with it? That's hard, man. And today I want to have a real 1-hour conversation with you, bro. I want to hit it hard. What do we do as men when you done hit rock bottom in a relationship? How? What just hit rock bottom? And then before you answer, I'm gonna hit you with this. Right? Check this out. I was reading this. Keep in mind that virtually every relationship that continues for years seems to be moving forward, but then it hits the ultimate test. And check this out. And then a breakup occurs. And you're at rock bottom. What do you do to handle the crisis? And me and my son was talking about this. My middle son, he said, "Dad," he said, "it's funny." He just told me this. He said, just yesterday, a day before yesterday, he said, "Man, you get into this stuff, Dad." And he said, "Man, and it wasn't consummated. It wasn't God, and then stuff happens, and then all of a sudden, you stuck. You're in the middle of this stuff." He said, "Nobody want to talk about that. Nobody want to talk about." And here's the 3 choices, right? This is what happens, Daniel. We got really 4. The first choice is, I say, I surrender. If somebody puts their sword down and they go back into a miserable relationship. The second door is that you turn around and you just put napalm or gas on the relationship and you torch it. Third choice, you have an open relationship. Did I say that? Daniel, are you listening? Did I say open? Daniel, hello? Daniel.
I hear you.
I open. Huh? And then you say, okay, you do you, I do me, and we just do whatever. Here's a fourth one. Or you come to a point and you finally realize, nah, them doors don't work. I need God. The rock. I'm at the bottom. Now, Daniel, I just started off. Did I use myself as an example? Daniel, did I say, Daniel, that's where I'm at? Can you help me, Dan? Help me, Dan. Help me.
You covered a lot. What I'm gonna say, What I'm gonna tell you about rock bottom, man, really is, there's so many different ways for us to hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom in my I hit rock bottom with my first marriage. I hit rock bottom as far as as far as my economy going and being homeless. So I'm gonna go with this as the example for it can work for the marriage at the same time too. I look at the homeless guys and whatnot on the street corners and whatnot. They're like, I'm homeless, anything to help and whatnot. It's like I've been homeless before. You see when the decline is coming, when you're losing a grip on handling the bills. You ain't just wake up one morning and you homeless. You saw the decline, you saw it coming. Same thing in the marriage. Either you started off on the right foot, and I guess you didn't start off on the right foot if God wasn't in it. But it started off looking good, where hey, you were in love and you knew that, this is just going to be great, this is going to be wonderful, and you're not even thinking about how she has a whole nother agenda and not being forthcoming about it. And then later down the line, but I mean, there's always the cues. There's always the notifications throughout that, like something just ain't right about you. We're not reciprocating the same kind of affection. We're not giving the same kind of love. You see the decline coming, so you shouldn't have hit rock bottom. But it's a matter of, like you said earlier, you put your head in the sand.
Yeah.
And you act like it wasn't there, but it was there all the time. Just because you don't want to see a thing, it doesn't make it stop existing.
But you know what, Daddy? This is the truth, man. See, this now I'm gonna hit you hard. Because me and you talk offline, right? Here's the truth. So this is the problem, right? Man, you pick a person for the wrong reasons, and you try to make it right. And relationships, we do that. We try to say, I can change the person like we God. Or we get in it, then we realize, oh my God, I'm jacked up. Or we got addictions or whatever the issue is, right? And there's some stuff, me and my son was talking about this, me and my middle son, right? I said, son, it's somehow when you even add people externally and their opinions or what they got to say. And, that kind of hit me. I was like, you know what? Wow, man, it's funny how we get in these relationships and everybody got an opinion, but there's no concrete, there's no standard. And yesterday when I was having that conversation with, her, I said, man, she admitted it. She said, no, God ain't in it. I said, okay. But we went south and we got talking about what other people got to say, all kind of crazy. Here's my point. Man, it come a point when, we can't depend on other people to satisfy our relationship. And that's tough, man. That's emotional. That's an emotional need. That's not a godly need. That's not, who do we need? God. And I'm gonna be frank, and I'm about to say some hard stuff today. This hour is gonna go fast. Dang it. When you come from the streets and you got addictions and man, you try to raise a family and stuff go wrong. And even in church, here's an addiction, right? I'm a musician. So my job in every church I've been in is just to provide a service to you. And if I can't do that, screw you. I'm sorry. I'm not saying every church is like that, but it's the truth. Like if I can't be the phenomenal preacher, I can't be the phenomenal musician, I can't be, whatever that title is. Titles don't entitle you. It's the same in marriage. It's like, dude, I'm depleted. I'm depleting myself to complete you. So, Daddy, did you hear that term right there, you? I am depleting myself to complete you. What's your thought on that? That's
I'm gonna go back to something you keep repeating. Where's God in it?
Huh?
And with the being the musician, the being the pastor, being the preacher, where's God in it? If God's in it, you don't get depleted because God won't put you in anything that's going to deplete you. He said anything that he gives us, it won't come with any sorrow. So if there's sorrow involved in it, if there's headache and frustrating involved in it, don't ask God, why am I going through this? Say, all right, God, I know exactly why I'm going through this. The counseling with other people, yo, where's the counsel with God? The counsel with God. I like, the marriage counseling is good. The asking for advice for others is good. But if I'm broken, if you broke, but we don't think about that because you know what? We've gotten so far away from God. We don't want to include him in anything except for what we consider to be church issues or church problems or spiritual things. But that fighting in between in the marriage and getting married, I believe in God. I'm gonna follow God. You're like, with the God stuff. Oh, you already said don't be unequally yoked. That's being unequally yoked right there. I'm about God, and you like, you can, you go ahead with the God. I'm good. We ain't gonna be able to get along in a household like that. How I'm chasing God and you after everything else. That's just like this. I don't know how many of y'all. Well, I'm gonna say, go read your Bible. I'm gonna keep on throwing stuff at you. So go read your Bible. It's just like when God told the children of Israel before he sent them over into the promised land. He told them he said, don't go over there and admire what those people have, and don't go over there and into marriage. Don't go over there and marry with those people because they got a set of standards and a set of living that is not like yours, and it's going to cause you a problem. But they didn't listen, and what happened? They end up with problems.
Yes, sir. And you know what? I was reading Psalm 16, right? You make known to me the path of life. In your presence, there's fullness of joy, and at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. So in God's presence, there is fullness of joy. That's crazy. Eternal pleasures that were never flat or stale, and basically that I found in God. And I'm paraphrasing this, but here's my point. You're 100% right. It comes a point, man, in our conversations, we got to teach people that when you consummate something and God wasn't in it, then what? And then how do you fix that? And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of men. They like, okay, I didn't have a benchmark or standard. God wasn't in it, or whatever that is, whatever's that concrete. Then you end up competing with people's friends or families or just crazy stuff. And I'm like, okay, God, now what? And the hard lesson for me to learn, and that's why I love you, man. I'm saying this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna publicly say it. Right. Like you know what love I'm talking about. It ain't no, nothing else outside.
Nah, we got it. Yo.
Prior to the people. But my point is that we like the odd couple, Oscar and Felix. They don't know about that. They don't know about the odd couple, the real show, right?
that might be too far back for them.
Too far back. The young people don't know about that.
It may be some of y'all guys. Some of y'all guys know about that, but that younger generation. Yeah, we had to put you on. We had to put you on the game. Put you on the real game.
Yeah, but what I learned, it's tough, man. It's tough when my nephew just said, "Hey, man, my divorce just got finalized, right?" And I was talking to him about that, and I said, "How does that feel?" And he said, "Man, I still got the kids. I still got, what on paper, it don't match my heart." I was talking to another friend, right? And she said, "Man, I've been divorced twice. The first divorce was, man, that dude almost had me dead. The second one was like, we weren't even married. I just did it to be doing it, just to prove a point." Here's where I'm going with the third point. Let's see if we can talk about this, right? So If God knows who we are and we don't, and that's supposed to be the benchmark and standard, then what? So when you get in these relationships, man, you floating. You're just trying to figure out, what's the next move, or what should I say, or what should I do. Yesterday was powerful for me, Daniel. I've been, me and you, man. I was like, God, why this guy in my life? And then you keep pounding me with the word, right? And you like, nah, no, 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 no. What does the Bible say? And then
The
in
standard
my
in the
relationship,
benchmark. You keep mentioning the standard in the benchmark.
huh? Yes, that's correct. That's correct. And then I'm saying, why this guy in my life, man? And then you keep running. Oh, you the one saying it. And then I'm like, what is that? And here's my point, right? And I want you to talk about this. Like, okay, what happens when you realize you didn't have a standard or a benchmark? What happens when we find it out deep into the relationship? And where do you go? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, hey, man, I've been through it myself, and I talk to so many guys, even to this day, man. I talk to guys on a regular that are dealing with being separated from their wife, and they want to go back home, and they want everything to be set right. I like, what was set wrong in the beginning? Usually what was set wrong is us. We weren't even right before we went into it. When I say that, I'm saying it's like a matter of, honestly, this is what we should be teaching all young men, because we set them up. We set them up for failure from the start when they little, with the joking about, yo, how many girlfriends you got? That's all.
Yeah.
We start with the how many girlfriends you got, already putting the pressure on them for them to not focus on that what they're supposed to be in school for. They're looking at the having little girlfriends, having a little, oh, I know you got all the girls chasing behind you. And then when they get a little older, then you start asking the question. It's like, yo, you still a virgin? You still a virgin? And then now you put the pressure on them to go out there and start doing something that really have such strong, it has strong emotional effect, but it got really strong spiritual effect, because you start creating soul ties and picking up brokenness off of other people. And then because you keep getting several partners, you just keep adding turmoil onto yourself. So now you all broken. You can't hear when God says, that's not the right person for you. That's not the right person, because now you gained an addiction. You gain a sexual addiction. You need to have that endorphin rush. Even if it's not about the woman, it's just about, I need to get that endorphin rush. I don't care who it is I sleep with or whatnot. I don't care if I got to jerk off to the pornography. I just need to get that endorphin rush. I just need to get that off. And we don't even know nothing about how to look at a relationship, because we got started off on the wrong path. They ain't talk about, yo, you do this with a girl, he teaching us about the chivalry thing and whatnot. This is how you treat a lady this way and whatnot. Nah, what they teaching us and what they were showing us by their lifestyle, and what they were teaching us was pretty much, let me see. I wanna use somebody. If I was to use Snoop, they done adopted the whole Snoop slogan about pimps up, hoes down. Everything is, everything is about a broad, a chick, get that jump off, all of that. So honestly, this generation and probably and going back maybe one or two more generations don't even understand what a relationship is supposed to be about, because they never got shown that. But more importantly, they don't even know who they are. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna turn it back to you. All right, I'm gonna say this for you, and then I'm gonna want your feedback. Okay. So you ever notice that whenever when like you say, we hit rock bottom in a marriage, and it just gets dissolved because so much has been done that we can't go forward. It's always the man that ends up in ruin and is always suffering and has it really hard. Now look at Adam when he disobeyed God and moved how he moved. He went to ruin. He had to. God said that, boom, you know what? You're no longer a manager and whatnot. You're an employee. Now you got to work by the sweat of your brow. And the earth is not going to work along with you like it used to in the garden. It's going to fight against you. So that I hope they get this, that what I'm saying is, because you didn't do it the way that God said to do it, you didn't consult with him, you didn't confer with him, you didn't wait to listen for him before you went running off. We ended up in ruin because we did it outside of him. And when we do it outside of him, then it's ruin. You got to tear us all the way down and start over again. That's what the rock bottom is about. The rock bottom ain't really that the relationship was so bad. It was because we were disobedient. We were disobedient, and the bad relationship was the outcome of our disobedience. And we had to hit the bottom in order for him to say, now I got to remake you all over again. I got to break off all those bad habits, all those thought processes you had, all those cycles that you lived in, all those addictions that you picked up, all of that sad woe is me stories, and I got to build you all over again. This time maybe you'll listen to me and move like I tell you to move. So I think that's what do you believe? What you think about that?
Well, you know what? That's funny you said it. Thank you for smoking me on the barbecue grill.
That's why you was like, man, it kind of hit me in my chest, bro.
Batman just put me on the
like bro, where's the love?
Check this out. So it was a group. I'm a musician, and it's a group called the Brand New Heavies, right? And
yeah, I remember them.
And was and guess what? They had a song called Sometimes. That's my anthem, right? And this is what they said. Gotta do right sometimes. Talking about a revolution or making a change of mind. Listen to this. What did Christ talk about? Like, hey,
you renewed in your mind.
That's it. You working on my constitution, I began to realize I've been doing wrong forever. Listen to this. Trouble was my favorite game. Ooh, breaking hearts I thought was clever, but I'm the one who got hurt playing. I got hurt.
Ain't that talking about something?
Huh? That's what they said. Now check this out. I never could see it coming. No, could I feel it until it's come and gone. But all that don't mean nothing when you all alone. Daniel, see what happens? See, we do stuff and we don't think about these consequences. That's what you just said, right? You think you're getting over, man. You think you're smarter than God. You think you got it all together. And as men, it's almost like it's a caveman mentality. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Like we think it's that simple. Like I'm really what? I had to tell a young man just yesterday, and I was his pastor. And you know, I'm emeritus right now. I just shut it down. I was like, man, you know. So this young man, you know, he called me up and was like, man, you know, I just jacked it up. And I said, son, I said, let me ask you a question. You got children? Yep, got a child. And I said, let me ask you a question. How you treating your mom? How you treating your parents? And you know the Bible talks about this, right? If you do them wrong, your days are short. And he said, yep, you're right. And I said, son, did you consult God before you did all this other if, and, or what, or buts? He said, no, I didn't. And I said, bro, I'm gonna give you the best advice. stop, drop, and roll. I'm gonna say this again. Stop what you're doing. Drop the foolishness, and you need to understand your role with God. And he said, wow. And I said, man, it ain't worth it. So here's my point, since you asked me that question. Sometimes you can be an old fool. Then did I say that? You can be an old fool. You gotta be a young fool. You can be an old fool too. Yeah, you think
just a fool.
Old fool. That's an old fool. You just gotta go back and say, you know what? I'm gonna have to count my losses, and I'm gonna have to
Fool
shut
for
it
a
down.
long time.
Shut it down and just say, you know what? I jacked it up. I messed up. You know what? It ain't even worth it. I mean, because when it comes down to it, this is a new lesson, right? For me, right? I'm like, is it God or the people that are little G's in my life? That's my lesson to men, right? Like I'm really being honest. Like, dude, like we can sit here and try to act like we got all the answers. We that powerful or whatever. No, stop. My uncle and my cousins this weekend hit me with something hard, right? They talked about the addictions in our family. Alcohol has killed so many people in my family. It has. That's my addiction. I struggle with that. And that's why I shut it down. Like, real talk. That's how much I love you, Daniel. When I started this, man, I'm a binge drinker. And I'm like, my whole entire life, I'm trying to hide it from a family, hide it from, I'm acting like, okay, God knows, God sees it. Trust me. It's like, and I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm being real. It's like being a hoe in a hotel. And the Bible is right there. Danny, have you ever been in a hotel and the Bible is right there in the drawer? You ever been in a hotel? Right?
Oh,
and the Bible is right there.
Of course.
That
Gideon Bible.
Now, shut up. Did you say the Gideon? Shitty. Huh? That tongue was not from God. The Gideon Bible. And this is what we so stupid. This is what we do. I used to preach this, right? We think we so smart. I'm gonna take that Bible out that drawer. And then God won't see me being a hoe or doing the dirt we was doing, drugs, whatever. Man, God is omnipresent.
Funny that you say that.
Huh?
I know we always keep saying that, did you consult with God, that you talk with God? I think some people take it like, it's not really a deep thing. It don't have to be so deep. You don't have to, I know you, if you've been raised in the church, or if you've been to church enough, saying go into your prayer closet, it really doesn't have to be that deep when it's saying confirm with God, because he instills something in us. We say it's our conscience, but you know what? It moved to where he placed his commandments in our heart, on our heart. So when we're going to go in and start entering into doing anything that we shouldn't be doing, that's the conversation right there. God is already having a conversation. His spirit is having a conversation like, nah, that's not the move. Don't do that. Don't go there. Don't you see the signs with her? See the signs with her? That she's not the one. That's consulting with God right there in that moment. It's not having to go and pray for 2 or 3 hours somewhere. When he start talking to you and saying, that's not it, you get that feeling. That's him saying, come to the, I'm trying to pull you to the side and have a conversation with you. But we be like, nah. Go ahead. I got this. And then he'd be like, all right, you got this. Sometimes he still holds our hand through there and saves us from the worst part of it, because sometimes a lot of our relationships, they could have went so much worse than where I woke up one time, my ex-wife had my pistol. I could have not woke up, or she could have just woke me up and then off me at that time. It could have went so bad. And that was like an indicator to him again saying, yo, you still want to keep doing this without me?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because you're right. And look, I was reading Psalms 23 and 4, right? It says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me, man. And you know what? And this is crazy. Now, we hear that. So, I mean, come on. We done heard that so many times. And, you know, when you, I talked about what you just said, right? I'm going to give you a couple of perspectives of what you just said. You're right. They could have offed you, or you can off them. You could have went rogue. You could have got so pissed off. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say? Yeah, I did. Pissed off, mad. What the hell we doing? You could have just got so nasty that you can do some crazy stuff, and it ain't even worth it. And something you had taught me, man, when we first started doing this. You know what's sad? It's like we don't think about the second, third, and fourth effect. Children, grandchildren, family members, the village, the people who we've served. We don't. We get so engrossed, man, in just trying to make stuff right in our own way. And then
I was going to say that.
I,
I was going to say that. Yo, for real, you know what happens with us, man?
what's that? What's that? Tell
Now,
me.
like now, when I wake up and she got the pistol in my face, so now, you know what? I'm thinking about. I'm not really thinking about really correcting my actions, correcting my train of thought in the things that I do. I'm just thinking about just, all right, how can I make this right? Like you just said, how can I make this right? It's like when I have talks with younger guys, like, yo, boom, I got tired of going before the judge for different offenses until it start like, boom, it started moving from misdemeanors the way I was like looking at felony charges and doing some real time. I had to pause and be like, all right, you know what, God? I don't want you to really I want you to get me out of this situation, but you know what? I want you to change me, change my heart, because if you change my heart and you change the way that I think, then I won't do the things that keep putting me back in these situations. So it's just like that with the relationships. We keep going to try and fix the relationship, but we hadn't asked God to do any work on us. So if no work gets done on us, the relationship going to continue to go the same way, because we're going to keep repeating the dangerous, unhealthy, reckless habits.
Yes. And you know what, Dan? And again, I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, because I know some people are like, oh, what if I don't believe in God? Then all that. No, that's my foundation. That's where I'm at. But check this out. John 14 and 17. Let me throw this at you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, or do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. Now I'm gonna put it in street vernacular, right? I read that because I'm gonna tell you something. Me and you start talking, right? And I'm like, man, I'm going through some crazy stuff, and he's already been through it and in a relationship. And man, I've been a punk. I've been afraid. That's no joke. And somebody called me and they said, there was one of my parishioners, right? And they said, all that stuff you preached to us about knocked down but not out, and everything you said to us is your turn. Just recently. And they said, we waiting to see how you gonna handle it. And I said, oh, that's interesting. We don't think about that. Even in relationships. Yeah, We see, this is what we do. Now, we talk about men on pause, right? We on pause. We just two men talking, right? We talk a whole bunch of I didn't say the word. I didn't say it, Daniel. You know what I was about to say. We talk a whole bunch of horse hockey. We talk a whole bunch of horse hockey. I said it clean. And then when we up there, we and we think that entitled us, and we preachers and missionaries and all that stuff, and we preaching to everybody else. But man, you know what? I learned something about Lucifer in his glorified state Satan in his present state, that joker, man, he like, yeah, go ahead, run your mouth, talk the trash. Let's see what you got. And then when you done and you get off that platform, showtime. See, when people not around you, and then it's on, and then you sitting here looking stupid because you like, oh man, I just told these people X, Y, and Z. Where my peace? Huh? Where the same Jesus, Father, Son, Holy Spirit I was talking about? Oh, they got you. Or I'm steady selling people. Oh no, you knocked down, but you ain't out. And then when you get knocked down, you steady staying out. What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I said all that to say this, man. You know, it's funny how God's math is fuzzy. He puts people in your life who you need. And if we're not careful as people of God, or as men of God, if we keep rejecting that and we think we're smarter than the people who God put in our lives, man, to help us to navigate these situations, we're going to lose. And so I'm saying this publicly. Who would have known Superman Daniels would have been in my life? Right? See that I said that? I said Superman Daniels. Superman Daniels shows up and we start this, and then I'm going through some crazy stuff that you already been through, man. Then I got a choice, right? I can listen to you, Daniels, or I can reject. I can reject you. I can sit there and say, nah, you know what? He don't know what he's talking about. No. You know what happened? God don't make mistakes. His math is fuzzy. Timing is everything. The space and place we're supposed to occupy, the things of God we're supposed to do. Men, I'm talking to men, like you got to know your place. Like you got to take the lesser seat. Like I'm older than you, right? And then we talk about this. And then you come in my life and you like, hey, bro, hold up. But I got you. I'm a step ahead of you on this one. And man, you ain't do it. You weren't nasty about it. You were just cool. You just say, hey, let me look, where's God? Where you at in your life? What we doing? What we saying? What? No, hold up. Yesterday, man, it was some stuff said. I was like, Jesus, huh? We men. We talking, right? I don't want to say. I was about to say something that wasn't right. I was mad, man. You kind of get where I'm going. I can say the phrase, you know, you just want to choke somebody. And then God said, no. And I thought about the conversations me and you've been having. And I'm like, man, who would have known that Superman Daniel Williams in my life? And he all the way in one of the Carolinas, and I'm here in Texas. And we talking to grown men saying, hey, man, we appreciate y'all's truth, transparency, translucence, and man, y'all helping us. And I'm talking about we talking about old G's to low G's. They ain't even got the G yet. That's my point. Like, we gotta start really thinking about, like, we gotta guard against our selfishness. I wrote these notes, right? When you in love with somebody and your selfishness goes beyond the relationship. It's like you feel like you own them or they own you. And that's what hurt me yesterday. I finally realized, Daniel, that was the relationship me and you got. Like, you was trying to teach me that. You like, nah, bro. Sometimes you feel like you own something that don't belong to you. And then I'm gonna throw a question back at you. I'm gonna hit you hard, right? What happens, man, in relationships when we honestly think we God? Because this stuff don't belong to us. And stuff means even another person in a relationship. When we honestly think that they belong to us, like we got that kind of power, or they're a property, they don't belong to us, man. So what's your thoughts on that? Hit me hard. Hit me.
I mean, it's real simple. We find out just how powerless we are. Not by their doing, but God just have it. it's especially so it was like, especially with me. So my first wife, you know, I said it before. I went into the marriage with a girlfriend. I had women all throughout the marriage. I was just doing her utterly wrong and whatnot, But I mean, in the end, it wasn't because it was God had to take care of me, because you know what? I didn't respect the thing that he built. He built marriage for it to be a covenant, for it to be a loving thing, to where the two come together and be as one. And they said, so if we won, then I'm suicidal. So if I'm going in, I'm suicidal, I'm killing her just as well as I'm killing myself. And God, at some point, especially she's not deserving of it. And how the scripture says that, you know what? That when we find a woman and find a good wife, good wife, she's our favor. And if we hurt our favor, he's not going to hear our prayers. So we wonder why we end up on the bad end of stuff sometimes, because we did the very thing that he said not to do. He said, don't mistreat that. That's the favor. That's the thing that keeps the glory coming towards you. And we do it intentionally, unintentionally. Sometimes we do it. We don't even realize the recklessness of it. Sometimes it's from enabling them, But just going into but that's on the end of you having a good woman and you doing her bad. But then you're a good man and you get done wrong, it still falls on you, because you know what? There were signs in the beginning to let you know. But I don't know, for every man it's different. He might have been so infatuated with her beauty. He just so that just like did everything for him to be like, yo, I'll never be able to find another woman this beautiful again. Or she might have certain things that she has going on that he feels like he'd never be able to find that anyplace else. So he'll just be a glutton for punishment to keep her around. Oh, she might change, just like how women say with men. Oh, he'll change, might change. It'd be the flip. It's like, yo, he looking at her like, yo, she might change. She gonna change. She keep doing the same thing to him again. She just stabbing him. She just hitting him with the shank. She just, and he just keeps standing there being like, just take it. Why are you taking it, man? You know the things. It's some marriages that aren't going to last, because they're going to be so toxic and detrimental to the other person, or perhaps the both. It might be a homicide suicide situation. Not so much, actually physically, but emotionally and mentally. It could be like, they're killing them, and then they're going to turn around and be like off themselves, because they don't care about what happens to them anyway. Or they think they're so, like you said, they think they're so full of power and they can control them, and then God snatched the rugs out from under their feet, and they be like, they looking around, and now they don't have nobody. Where they thought they had control of people, now they ain't got nobody, and nobody wants to bother with them.
Yeah,
powerless.
And this I'm gonna read this, right. It's a note I had. Beware of blindness to obvious warning signs that tell you that your potential or current wife or husband is being disloyal, hateful, spiritually uncommitted, hooked on, and when I say hooked, they have addictions, given to selfishness. Believe me, a bad marriage is far worse than the most lonely instance of singleness. Whew. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm about to talk about something, man, that's terrible. And a lot of men don't want to hear this, right? So this is what we do, right? We that can be an addiction when you teach people how to treat you. When you let other people in a relationship just continue to just mistreat you because of your mistreatment. And what I mean by that is, and I'm gonna be 100, when you do wrong and you just trying to finally, you're a late bloomer and you trying to get it right. Sometimes you got to do right to be happy. Just okay. I found out I'm just okay. I got it wrong, and then you just say okay, and then the mistreatment by the other person becomes an addiction. You can do all the stuff to try to fix it. I had a bishop tell me this. I ain't gonna say who the bishop was because Mr. Cockfield is crazy. I'll say it, but I ain't want to do that. But this one bishop told me this. He said, "Well, I tell you what, because of the situation, if your wife crap on the floor," I was about to say something else with an S, and they crap on the floor, you got to take the toothbrush and clean it up. A toothbrush. Now, I looked at this cat daddy and I said, are you serious? So I'm supposed to continue to allow this person to mistreat me and use the most useless tool. I'm a military guy, right? I've had that happen before. Like, this is what military people used to do to us back in the day. You do some dirt, some craziness, and they'll tell you, grab your toothbrush, and I want you to clean the floor. Toothbrush, Danny? A toothbrush? And so, shut your mouth. So, and so this preacher told me that, and I said to myself, no, I don't have that kind of time. I'm too old. Like, I'm in the fall, winter, I'm like, I ain't got time. The point I'm trying to make is this. We're going to use extreme tools to equate our worth, the flawlessness of the beauty we are, or the humanness, man, or just we can devalue ourselves. We can emasculate ourselves. We can let other people just say and do stuff just because we're so busy, like emotionally trying to rectify something that's not going to be fixed. So I'm gonna throw a question back at you before we end up, because we got a few minutes. I'm gonna ask you this, right? To what extreme do we go to fix what? And we don't want to talk about it. What extreme? Like, who determines what that extreme is? Green Hornet. What do we do to do that, Daniel?
That's really it's really, man. That's really like that question. The answer for that is really like a per case type of thing. I'm not going to throw a broad general thing out there to say to go by this, but you know what? Honestly, truthfully, and hey, I'm gonna say a thing like I had a conversation when I used to have conversations with my mother, and she always had a scripture for it. Interject Jesus, God in there. I like Mom. I like everything got to be God, everything Jesus. Yes, everything God, everything Jesus. It always come back to Jesus. What I'm gonna say is this: if the marriage is worth fighting for, ask God for His strength for you to be able to endure. If it's not worth fighting for, ask for God's strength for you to endure. God will fight the battle. God will mend it, or He will separate it. He'll cause them to see themselves, and they'll pull back. It's like how it said, God will cause people to walk out of your life without you having to. You don't have to delete anybody. You just rely on God. You like, Lord, I'm yours. You said that you never leave me or forsake me. You said you'd always protect me. You'd shield me. You said even in my wrong, if I just ask you for forgiveness, that you would take care of the situation. You go and fight my battle. So whether it's worth fighting for, ask God for the endurance. If it's not worth fighting for, ask God for the endurance. Either way it goes, God will either mend it or God, He'll separate it. We keep on wanting as men to always be the one that has the solution. Allow Him to give you the solution, and then you implement it. And most times the best implementation you can do is prayer. Give it to God. I mean, you don't just, and when I say prayer, you know, we always, a lot of people here always throwing out prayer, just pray, just pray. Your prayer doesn't have to be an hour. You don't necessarily have to be speaking in tongues, because when your heart is heavy and it's hurting, God feels our hurt. That's the whole reason why Jesus had to come. Jesus had to come and be in the physical form and be a man, flesh and blood, so he could experience exactly what human beings experience. So that way he could say, now he had a different compassion for us, because he knew, he lived it, he walked it, he knew the emotions, the mental stress, the mental anxiety, all of the things that come along with it. So God will be your solution if you turn to him for being the solution. Otherwise, I say this and then I give it back to you. I hope it is answering the question. Realize this, fellas. When you come to your hardest thing, that's your door to enter into a new thing. You got to knock that domino over. You got to knock that thing down. There's always a giant that's in front of the door to not allow you in. When you see the giant, then you know that there's a door for you to go into a greater place. You got to confront the giant. If you don't confront the giant, you're going to stay out of the better place.
Yeah.
That means it's time to outgrow something. It's time to outgrow a person. It's time to outgrow habits. It's time to outgrow addictions. It's time to outgrow certain things so that you can go and expand. You're never going to be an evolved man if you don't outgrow some things. Outgrow some things and move on.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. See, I'm about to throw some country and western on you, huh? Some country and western, right?
Country western.
Country and western.
Country western.
Country and western. Country singer Tom T. Hall wrote a song in which he revealed an understanding of the concept we have been describing. See what you just talked about. This funny. He said, "This is lyric. If you hold love too loosely, then it flies away. What? If you hold love too tightly, it dies. It's one of the mysteries of life. Hall's observations is accurate. If the commitment between a man and a woman is given insufficient importance in their lives, it will wither like a plant without a water, and the whole world knows that too much. But fewer lovers seem to realize that extreme dependence can be just as deadly to a love affair." And my point is this, right? See, that country and western cat got it right. You can be too loose, or you can be too tight in a relationship. Where's the middle, right? So we got 2 minutes. This is what I'm gonna say to you. I'm gonna say my parting words, my brother, and then you can say yours. I love you, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. Thank you for teaching me that. Sometimes, you know, we put mile markers and years on stuff, and we'll be like, well, I put too much into it, and then what? Where's God? That's what you taught me, man. I love you for that. It don't matter about how much mileage you got in this stuff, man. You gotta come to the point where you gotta own what's the benchmarking standard and what's more important. It don't matter how many years you got in a relationship. It don't matter how much stuff you've given. It don't matter how much nothing. Because you know what's crazy, man? Yesterday, I made an important statement. I said, it's funny. Naked, we come in, and naked, we going out, brother. I've never preached a funeral where that joker, him or her, died. Huh? And all the stuff that they amassed, which ain't theirs because the earth is the Lord's, so full of stuff, they never took it with them. I've never seen it. Never. Maybe you might be a super preacher. You might be the man of the hour where you preach a funeral. And some joker, him or her, was able to pull the house with them, huh? Bury it with them, or take the, Nothing. Them jokers went to the funeral home naked, butt naked, butt naked. You're butt naked coming in, and you're gonna be butt naked coming out. And then what? And none of this stuff. And you know what I found out in relationships? That's what we do. We'll hold on to stuff, and we'll hold on to the relationship because we're like, oh my God, I spent my whole pension, my whole life, my whole to do what? It ain't yours. And we fighting over what? So I'm good. What's your last parting words?
Man, I think I'm gonna just let you close it out with that, because that was real strong. I don't need to try and go into anything anything else. But I just say this, honestly, what I'm really learning, something I've been really studying and learning on today was, don't be so attached to a thing to it actually be a distraction to you, and it deters you from being able to be responsible. Just like you were saying, it's like, hey, so it's all about knowing how to be a good manager, a good steward over what you have. You can go to the extreme with it, or you can be reckless with it. Going to the extreme is reckless. Being loose with it is reckless. Knowing how to actually handle it, trust God, confer with God. That's all I got.
All right. God bless the hearts. Heaven smile upon you. We about to wrap it up. And this see, I'm gonna give him a new title before I hit this. I'm gonna wrap it. This man is he's just so oh my goodness. See, I ain't got a word. God bless your heart. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. Love you, bro. Love y'all, man. Yo, see y'all the next time. Act accordingly. We'll see you next time, Men on Pause.